network which generally people use. One is called activity on node and activity on arrow. What is the meaning of activity on node? In this type of precedence network, each node represents a specific task while the arcs represent the ordering between the tasks. Okay, so rather than having an activity represented on arrow, I am representing the activity on the node itself or on the circle. Okay, they place the activities within the nodes and arrows are used to indicate the sequence and requirements. Okay, so this is activity on node. Means what? The activity is not represented on the arrow, it is represented on the node itself. And here dummy activities are not there, so it is easier to draw. Okay, now coming to activity on arrow. At each end of the activity arrow is a node. Node represent points in time or instance when an activity is starting or ending. Activity itself represents a passage of time required for that activity to be performed. They have a single beginning node from which all activities with no predecessors may start. Diagram works its way from left to right, ending with a single node where all the activities with no followers come together. So two things I know. Initially, I'll start with one node. From that, I'll be having different activities which will move on to produce the future activities, and all of them will end up again on only one single node, which is called the end node. Okay, so this is activity on arrow and activity on node. Okay, this is how it looks like. Look at the difference. The first one is activity on arrow, so it is represented on the arrow. Look here. On the arrow, it is represented letter A, whereas letter A is represented in the node itself. Now look how the precedence is. B must follow A. So this to this end, one event, one activity is A. From one node to one node, one activity is A and another activity B. Look at the difference. Okay, for each activity we are giving one node, starting node and ending node, and then starting node and ending node. And look at here in activity on network. Look here, what's the difference? It's represented and so it's easy. Now look at this. B and C must follow A. So one activity A I represented, and from there B, and from there C. And look here, both mean the same. Only difference is each activity is represented by a starting and an ending node. C and B. So again I have represented. C must follow A and D must follow A and B. Look here, C must follow A. So I've done, and D must follow A and B. So D predecessor activity are A and B. Now A I have represented here already. That means I have to create a dummy and represented this with D. So that's the reason this dummy has been introduced. Why? Because D will start only when A and B finish. So D will start only when A and B finish. Now C will start only when A finishes. So now A has got two dependency, one with C and one with D. So that's the reason I created a dummy activity. If I represent in A activity on node, it's quite easy. Can you see? One I represented to C, one I represented to. So that's the main difference. In activity on node, dummies I cannot create, whereas here I have to create dummies. Now look here. AOI diagram can be superimposed on a time scale with arrows drawn the correct length to indicate the time requirement. So these are the advantages. AOI diagrams give a better sense of flow of time throughout the project compared to AOI. So advantages of activity on arrow network has been given to you. Okay, yeah. So let's proceed to the rules which are required. Very important. When you draw a network diagram, these rules should help you. So in our syllabus or generally we make use of activity on arrow and we do not make use of activity on node. So understand, activity is represented on the arrow connected by two nodes. Okay. So here in network diagram, arrow represent activities and circle represents the events. The length of an arrow is of no significance. So length of an arrow can be anything. You can draw a small arrow, you can draw a large arrow. It doesn't matter. Each activity should be represented by only one arrow and must start and end in a circle called event. So that's what I said. So each activity is represented by one arrow and it has got two nodes, a starting node and an ending node. So starting node is represented by a tail, the head node is represented by the end of the work. Okay. The event numbered one denotes start of the project and is called the initial event. All activities emerging from event one should not be preceded by any other activity or activity. So one is the starting, one kinta munche 0, -1, -2, yavudu irbodu. Okay, so that's the starting thing. Event carrying the highest number denotes the completion of an event. A network should have only one initial event and only one terminal event. So there cannot be no initial events and no terminal events. Okay. General rule for numbering of the event is the head event should always be numbered larger than its tail. Okay. So I should be less than j. That is the main thing. Now coming to fifth one, very important. An activity must be uniquely identified by its starting and completion of an event, which implies that an event number should not be repeated or duplicated. So once you give a number to the event, it should not be duplicated. The two activities should not be identified by the same completion of the event. So one activity ಬೇರೆ number ಇರಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು activity ಇನ್ನೊಂದು number ಇರಬೇಕು. Activities must be represented either by the symbols or by corresponding ordered pair of starting and completion of the events. So these are the three rules which you have to follow when you have to create an activity. Okay, let's proceed to next rule, which is very important. An event cannot occur until all the incoming activities into it have been completed. An event cannot start unless all the preceding activities on which it depends have been completed. So two things important. An event cannot occur until all the incoming activities into it have been completed. So if I say C is dependent on A and B, so C will start only when A and B have been finished. An activity cannot start unless all preceding activities on which it depends have been completed. Now here I know C depends on A and B. So first of all, incoming activity should have been completed and all the preceding activities before that should have been completed. Let's take one more example. Let's say D is dependent on B and C and B is dependent on A. So three things I know. D is dependent on B and C and B is dependent on A. That means when A is completed, B should start. Now, and D will start when B and C have been completed. Now, since B is dependent on A, so D will start only when A, B, and C all three have been completed. So that is the meaning of the second sentence. So clear it out again. I'm repeating. Let's say D starts only after B and C ends, and B starts only after A ends. So now I know that B will start only after A activity ends. So that diagram is ready. Okay, and then D will start only after B and C have been finished. Now B is indirectly dependent on A, so D is indirectly dependent on A also. So now for B and C to complete it, even A has to be completed. That means when D starts, all A, B, and C has to be completed. All A, B, and C activities has to be completed. Look at the third point. Though a dummy activity does not consume any resource or time, it has to follow the rules of 6A and 6B. So again, if you have a dummy, if you put a dummy anywhere, now it should still satisfy the same thing of A and B. So two things, keep this in mind. When you draw a network diagram, this is important. An event cannot occur until all the incoming activities have been completed. An activity cannot start unless all the preceding activities on which it depends has been completed. So look at the difference. An event cannot occur unless all the incoming activities have been completed. An event cannot start. An activity cannot start unless all the preceding activities have been completed. And dummy activity, I have to follow the same rule. There are some errors in the network also. One is called looping. Looping andrenu A is dependent on B, B is dependent on C, and C is dependent on A. So ಈ ಮೂರು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಹೊಡಿತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, so that is called loop. Why this happens? Due to precedence relationship. If I am not giving the correct precedence, looping will occur. What is the meaning of dangling? Dangling andrenu hanging. It is not required at that time and it is creating a confusion. Okay, a case of disconnect activity before the completion of all activities is called as dangling. In our computer, we had something called as a dangling pointer. Okay, same way here. A case of disconnect activity before completion of all activities. Okay, there is some extra activity which is there, which we did not think of. Now coming to dummy, always remember when two or more parallel activities in a project have the same head and tail, then only it is called a dummy. I have to create a dummy activity. Okay, where two or more parallel activities have the same head and tail event. Okay, this is the example for looping. Can you see A to 1 to A to B, B to C, C to A? This is looping. Look at dangling. Now, event 4 depends on event A and B. Only when A and B have completed, this will start. But look at dangling here. Suddenly, I've created a new event called 3 and C. So now C is nowhere related to, event 3 is nowhere related to 4. But still, event 2 is dependent on event 3 to be completed. Only when 2 completes, 3 will go. So it is dangling here. It is not required to me at that point of time. But still, it's creating a problem for me there. Now coming to the dummy thing. Look here how it works. Can you see? B and C are the two activities having the same head and tail of the event. Now how can I create? So D is dependent on B and C. So B I created a main line and C I created a dummy. Or C I created a main line and from B I created a dummy. Now look, it means the same. See, B and C both are dependent on D. Both mean the same. Now since I cannot have two parallel activities, I need to create a dummy. Now this dummy will not have any value. Will have the value barana? It is 0. But still I am telling, okay, D will occur only after B occurs, and after C occurs, D it will again go to D. So that's the meaning of the dummy here. Okay, so again rule remains the same. D cannot start unless and until A, B and C are completed, and this event cannot start unless and until this event 1 and 2 are completed. That's the meaning of this particular thing, creation of a dummy. Look at the same dummy created in a different manner. This is created in a different manner. Both mean the same. Either I can start with B or I can start with C. Both mean the same. It's understandable there. Okay. Yeah. Again, one more example of dummy. When to create dummy. When two chain of activities and common event wholly or partially depend of each other, a dummy is used in such a case to establish proper logic. Now look here. A and B have terminated at this. A and B have terminated here, and I've got C here, I've got D here, and then it's proceeding that way. Now, if head event of C and D, head event means what? This C and E. If head event of C and D do not depend on the completion of activities of A and B, then the network can be redrawn. So look at the redrawn. So I know if it is not dependent, then I can create a dummy and then put over here. Why? Because D is dependent on A and B, right? D is dependent on A and B. Can you see? D is dependent on A and B. Can you see here? This D is dependent on A and B. So I have to create a dummy. That's the reason I created this dummy. And then I put it for D. Okay, and then I continued with the remaining thing. Now this you will understand only when we do the problem. This is only theoretical part. Main part is this thing which you need to understand. Okay. Main part is this part which you require to understand. The main part is this particular thing which you need to understand. So when we solve the problem, the first problem you will understand better. Okay. Now why this I've given you certain times this was asked for a 5-mark question. What are the rules for constructing a network diagram? Theory part. Then you have to draw this diagram. You have to give an example. Okay. So that's the reason this theory part is there. So activity on arrow network also question had been asked. What is predecessor successor dummy has been asked. Merge and burst event had been asked. Okay, so this is theory part which is required. We concentrate on the practical part. So this is your first question. So I will move on to my mobile. It will take another 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will start solving this on the board. Okay, then you will get to know better.